Hello, good afternoon. It's Nationwide on NTA. We are reaching you from Abuja. I'm Ogochkuka Ona. Welcome. The era of consumers of goods and services losing money during transactions without refund will soon be a thing of the past. This is as the federal government, through the Office of the Vice President on Financial Inclusion, alongside stakeholders in the financial ecosystem, are working on a national framework aimed at building consumer trust for economic and financial inclusion. Benny Adams reports.
Failed transactions like this, cybercrime and the influx of Ponzi schemes are daily transactions that Nigerians go through with tears, leading to the continuous decline in trust for the financial system. This is the reason for this convergence of stakeholders, united by a common goal, which is to cement the National Consumer Trust Framework for economic and financial inclusion.
We should be able to place our order and be rest assured that it will be delivered. That is the key thing.
Part of it has to do with looking at cases to do with fraud, the quality of service that these banking institutions give to people.
The CBN has put in place a customer complaint management solution, which we are working to integrate with the industry dispute resolution system and hold financial institutions responsible for not resolving within the set timeline.
As we move on, if the situation demands legislation, then that will be action. Mr. President is pretty much ready, is available to do all that is needed to restore the confidence of Nigerians in this financial inclusion, in financial systems.
Aside building trust, stakeholders here are working towards having more Nigerians with access to digital financial services and at an affordable price. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
And as Nigeria advances its digital transformation journey, the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare is accelerating efforts to implement the Nigeria Digital Health Initiative, an initiative that aims to leverage digital technologies to enhance health financing and ensure optimal service delivery across the nation. Oluseye Adeagbo has details.
Across the country, data collection remains largely suboptimal and often reliant on outdated, paper-based systems. In March 2024, the federal government launched the Nigerian Digital Health Initiative, NDHI, a practical roadmap aimed at building a unified, secure, and consistent digital health ecosystem for the country.
The health sector challenges cut through multiple layers of the health system. Financing problem, there's human resource problem, there is supply chain problem, there is governance. Over the next 3 days, we will explore global best practices.
Health sector leaders and digital health experts from across states of the Federation and the FCT are convening to review progress on the NDHI, share strategic insights, and develop a collaborative platform to shape the future of digital health in Nigeria.
And you could see that it is across society, across government, validation process. With that validation, we're then going to be moving to the level where there is now individual data repository, and there is going to be information exchange for healthcare systems, and we're then going to be going to a level where there is robust data analytics that's going to help us in decision making, in better spending.
This engagement also highlights digital health innovations from across Africa and beyond, exploring how technology can drive equitable healthcare access for all Nigerians, and how the sector can attract greater investment to support its growth and sustainability. In Abuja, Oluseye Adeagbo, NTA News.
Students sitting for the ongoing 2025 Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination have appealed for the quick implementation of the computer-based examination format across the country. The students made the appeal when the Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmad, monitored the exercise organized by the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, in Abuja. Let's now join Olayinka Ojo for details.
Rosemary Arinze and Esther Chukudi are students of Government Secondary School, Apo. They are writing the ongoing Senior Secondary School Certificate examination, but using the pen and paper process. They, however, hope for a quick transition to computer-based examination, where the pens are finally up and the fingers taking the computer.
There will be no exam and practice. You just go straight and write your exam on time.
The timing and the cooperation, and it's better because writing with paper, I think it brings noise.
Applauding the conduct of the examination while monitoring the exercise at two schools, one of which employed the computer-based format, the Minister of State for Education assured that government will stop at nothing in ensuring smooth transition and provision of infrastructure from paper to computer.
Right now we are doing stakeholders engagement. The main essence is to look at all these challenges within the rural locations, urban locations, and also prepare before next year. We will not roll out something when we know that a particular group of students will be excluded. No, each and every child will have the opportunity to write the examination. So with the objective examination, only the keys to answer A, B, C are going to be left open for the student to actually key in the answer. While for the written essay examination, what we are going to make use of is a slate. It's just like a book that you write and automatically it will translate it and upload it.
The examination is expected to end on the 20th of June 2025. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
Let's now talk health. Keen to turn the table against a silent killer of women in the country, Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, has flagged off a new campaign partnership to eliminate cervical cancer in Nigeria as a strong coalition that will scale down the scourge among Nigerian women. While unveiling the logo of the campaign at the banquet hall of the presidential villa, the First Lady notes that meeting the 2030 targets on eliminating cervical cancer requires strategic and collaborative action.
State and local governments, as well as healthcare professionals, must all prioritize women's health. Also, our schools and educational institutions need to be champions of immunization. In addition, it behoves on our religious and traditional leaders to advocate for truth and science. And yes, funding and a lot of resources is needed. That is why through the Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, we have committed 1 billion naira to this effort. I call on all our state governors, business leaders, and development partners to join in supporting this laudable initiative. Together, we must invest in a future where no woman dies from a disease that is preventable.
As governors, we are not just supporting this initiative in principle. We are prepared to work. Therefore, on behalf of the 36 states of the Federation, I formally endorse this initiative and affirm our commitment.
Country. Under the Renew Hope agenda, 6 cancer centers of excellence are being established, one per geopolitical zone, to provide comprehensive cancer prevention services, diagnosis, and treatment. 3 of these centers are now ready for commissioning, while the remaining 3 will be commissioned on or before February 2026.
But when we invest in healthcare, there is a return on investment. And in addition, the infrastructure that we are going to put in place for cervical cancer will be the same infrastructure that we are going to use to treat prostate cancer, breast, all other cancers.
And elsewhere, inherited blood disorders advocates are pushing for comprehensive coverage of all kinds of blood disorders in health insurance schemes nationwide. This call emerged from a high-level meeting of inherited blood disorders advocates from across Africa, which took place in Abuja. Sawal Khalil Ibrahim reports.
Until Nigeria gets it right with sickle cell disease, the global body will not get it right.
Sickle cell is one of the most common inherited blood disorders, with Nigeria bearing the highest global burden of the disease. Approximately 150,000 newborns are affected annually, and an estimated 6 million people in the country are living with the condition. Aliyu, a warrior turned advocate, has been battling sickle cell for 32 years, highlighting the challenges many face.
You can't imagine, it's unimaginable pain. I have undergone total hip replacement, which each and every sickle cell patient knows about it.
In Nigeria, access to treatment is a major issue, with cost being a significant barrier. To address this, the Global Action Network for Sickle Cell and Other Inherited Blood Disorders, in collaboration with Sickle Cell Nigeria, is leading the advocacy.
And that's the reason why we are asking for National Inherited Blood Disorders Day in every country, so we can have the awareness, visibility, and get more policy makers to have empathy around these disorders.
They need to have expert care, and it's expensive, and they pay out of pocket. They should be treated free. Those are the kind of laws that we want, laws that make sense.
And that's where advocacy comes in. Honestly, we cannot achieve much, if anything, without strong advocacy, both by the larger community and the community of patients themselves.
We need to stand up and speak up so that government can allocate more funds to addressing these two conditions in our country.
For better support and treatment for millions of people affected by sickle cell, thalassemia, hemophilia, and other inherited blood disorders. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
The wife of Niger State Governor Fatima Umar Bago has paid a condolence visit to flood victims in Mokwa, donating 50 million naira to support those affected by the devastating floods that ravaged two communities in the local government area. During the visit, the governor's wife expressed deep concern over the tragic event, emphasizing the need for measures to prevent future occurrences. Fatima Usman has details.
2 days after the devastating flood in Mokwa that left about 200 people dead with scores missing, while more than 3 million people are displaced. Governments at all levels and individuals are making efforts to cushion the effect of the tragedy through provision of relief materials. It is in the face of this that the wife of the Niger State Governor, Fatima Umar Bago, accompanied by top government functionaries, paid a condolence visit to Mokwa to sympathize with the people of the affected communities, where she made a personal donation of 50 million naira to support the victims.
Only advise them to be cautious henceforth going forward, to avoid building on waterways, because these are some of the things that causes this kind of havoc to happen in this magnitude.
The grieving victims were very appreciative.
We need your help, because even me, myself, I did not save with anything. Even shoe, hijab, nothing.
All we want from the government, provide them with material like mosquito nets, all this medicine, but all these are not there. You can see when the rain season, where the mosquitoes are everywhere.
Fatima Usman, NTA News.
And similarly, the former Anambra State Governor and presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election has donated 20 million naira to the victims of the flood disaster in Mokwa, Niger State. Obi announced the donation when he led a delegation on a sympathy visit to the government and people of Niger State at the Government House, Mina. Mukhtar Wowo has details.
The Labour Party presidential candidate in the last elections, Peter Obi, condoled with the government and people of Niger State over the flood that ravaged some parts of Mokwa town. He emphasized the state's importance in agriculture and suggested exploring ways to mitigate future disasters.
I've made my own personal contribution. It becomes critical that all of us hold hands together, ensure that those families, as they go through this difficult time, do not feel the pain alone. It is all of us. We've lost our own brothers, sisters, and children.
The Niger State Governor, represented by his deputy, described the flood as a national catastrophe. and appreciated Obi's visit and donation.
Niger State alone cannot handle this issue. We need both international and national assistance for us to address the immediate needs of these episodes.
Similarly, the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, represented by the Director General, Niger State Babana Border Development Agency, Muhammad Garbat Alladi, expressed condolence and placed a donation of 1 trailer load of food items to support the victims. In Mina, Mukhtar, NTA News.
And still staying in Mina, the search and rescue efforts for flood victims in the Mokwa local government area of Niger State are now focused downstream of the River Niger. The State Emergency Management Agency says it is utilizing divers and fishermen from the riverside community to gather information about missing persons and to assist in recovering bodies. Since the incident on Wednesday, approximately 200 bodies have been recovered and buried, while many individuals, including children, remain unaccounted for. Figures released by the national and state emergency management organizations indicate that 503 households and 264 homes have been affected, resulting in the displacement of 3,018 individuals. Victims are gradually receiving assistance and support from the government and various organizations. However, heavy traffic in the town is hindering the movement of humanitarian aid to those in need. And global early warnings for all community-centered approaches and innovation, as well as strong partnerships to make early warning a reality for all, are key takeaways from the World Resilience Recovery Conference of the ongoing 2025 Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in Geneva, Switzerland. Mina Daniels reports.
Only a few days ago, Nigeria witnessed another round of flash floods in Mokwa, a community in Niger State. It was an episode that took several lives, displaced hundreds, and resulted in billions of naira in economic loss.
Our experience so far is that many of our partners tend to support provision of immediate humanitarian needs as opposed to recovery and resilience.
What is it that disaster-affected people want? What are their aspirations? What are their entitlements according to government policies? Where do they go with their grievances? How do you strike a balance between recovery at the level of a household and recovery at the level of community?
These are interventions on how the world can achieve resilient recovery from disasters like that witnessed in Mokwa, Niger State. The World Resilient Recovery Conference is a critical component of the Earth Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction, which seeks to encourage actions for strategic and inclusive recovery from disasters. In Geneva, Switzerland, Mina Daniels, NTA News.
Thank you, Mina. Now, no doubt primary health care is the backbone of health system everywhere in the world, as it provides affordable and accessible services, especially in rural communities where there are no tertiary hospitals. In this report, Chika Okori assesses the contributions of primary health care centers in Enugu State and suggests practical ways to revitalize and reposition the sector for optimal performance.
Health is the most valuable treasure, yet many rural dwellers cannot easily get it when needed due to high costs and poor access. This leads to more deaths, especially among mothers and newborns in rural communities. Given this reality, Governor Peter Mba is ensuring that healthcare services are available to individuals within 5 kilometers from their doorsteps.
We are trying to achieve that through the revitalization and the rebuilding of 260 primary healthcare facilities of the type 2 primary healthcare type.
Despite the fact that primary healthcare facilities are presumably closer to the people and helps in childbirth and emergency care at affordable rates, some of the facilities are still in shambles.
They are doing their best. They are really trying. So I'm suggesting that the government should employ more workers.
To meet the basic requirements of universal basic healthcare coverage, where health is prioritized, government policies must be fully implemented, not just in the media, but in reality for all Nigerians. In Enugu, Chika Okore, NTA News.
And still staying with Chika Okore, who is standing by to give us an update on the status of primary health care facilities in Enugu. Yes, Chika, I can see you. So tell us more on the efforts of Enugu state government in revitalizing the primary health care sector in the state for the benefits of its citizens.
All right, thank you so much. We are actually standing at Owenike Primary Healthcare Center in Enugu North local government area, parts of the Enugu metropolis. You know, the primary healthcare center, you can agree with me, is the first point of call, you know, between the citizens or individuals and the health system. It is the backbone of the health sector. And in Enugu State, a lot has been done to actually promote access to healthcare services by the citizens. Indeed, the governor, like you watched in the report, where the Commissioner for Health said that the governor, through his manifesto, promised the people that he will revitalize the health sector, the primary health sector, and he has built 260 of building, still in the process, 260 primary healthcare centers in all the wards in Enugu State, and equally equipping them with the best equipment you can think, and also employing health workers to help deliver these services to the people. And you know that the primary healthcare centers, they do a lot of things like immunization, antenatal care, treatment of minor and common illnesses like malaria, diarrhea, and others, including family planning. But in Enugu, the governor is not resting on his hours because he's training the health workers to make sure that they're up to date. And also in that report, despite the efforts of the governor, there are a little loophole where the people want him to pay attention. Like from some of the primary healthcare facilities we visited, you know, patients, they actually complain of shortage of staff. And remember that WHO, World Health Organization, says in a particular primary healthcare, you must have at least 5 to 7 health workers, including a medical doctor, nurses, community health workers, and the rest, to ensure that they will provide this care to the people at affordable rates. So they are calling for the state government and other agencies to actually help in recruiting more workers, and it will not stop there. They want their payment, their salary take home be increased, and also give them some other privileges that will help them to do their work the way they ought to do it. I remember in Enugu State, primary healthcare centers, like where we are, you can see behind me their chatbot, they are doing a lot. They provide 24-hour service for the people. That notwithstanding, when you go to rural communities where we need this primary healthcare most, you see that some of them are actually in shambles, like reported in that report. Some of them are underlocked. Yes, and you see grasses and the reptiles enjoying their day.
Chika Okore, thank you so much for that very insightful update. 260 primary healthcare centers equipped with facilities and, of course, manpower. That's very good. Kudos to the state government, and I believe more will be done. Thank you so much for that update.
Thank you so much, too. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, from Enugu, we are heading straight to Lagos for more reports where the Navy is celebrating 69th anniversary. All right, Awal, you're on.
A lovely afternoon to you. Officers, ratings, and civilian staff of the Nigerian Navy have been tasked to sustain the tempo and prepared to make necessary sacrifices for the good of the nation, as the federal government has reiterated its commitment to equip the Navy in all facets to meet up with the twists and turns in the fight against any form of security threats within and around the nation's maritime domain. Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawalle reaffirmed this at the 2025 Nigerian Navy ceremonial sunset and 69th anniversary in Lagos. Diana Ajale reports.
For 69 years, the Nigerian Navy has remained dogged in significantly contributing to the fight against sea pirates, oil theft, and other related crimes in the Gulf of Guinea to ensure a safer maritime domain. And this is worth celebrating. The 2025 ceremonial sunset is an age-long tradition of the Navy to mark the end of activities within a specific period and a time to reflect on the Navy's achievements, gender comradeship, hard work of officers and men of the Nigerian Navy. The Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, commended the Navy's efforts, stating the importance of investing more in officers' capacity building to promote national progress.
Our economy hinges on the security of our waters in order to guarantee our economy well-being within the context of the prevailing national government's efforts to revamp and reposition our economy and the well-being of our people.
So if there is anything that the current budget is going to support by means of priority, it is the activity of the Nigerian Armed Forces.
While highlighting the crucial role of the Nigerian Navy, the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, urged officers and men to remain focused, committed to hard work towards protecting the maritime domain.
Our strength lies in our collective will. As we celebrate, we should spare a moment to reflect on the task ahead.
The presentation of 9 vehicles to deserving officers who have contributed immensely in their various capacities to the successes recorded so far climaxed the Navy's ceremonial sunset. The Thanksgiving service was earlier held as part of activities marking the Nigerian Navy's 69th anniversary in appreciation to God for all the achievements recorded in Lagos. Diana Ajale, NTA News.
And from the Navy, we'll move on to the environment, where changing the pattern of media reportage on environment issues and involvement of key players in crafting solutions to ending environmental degradation formed the basis of a brainstorming session held recently in Lagos. Amaka O reports that the 2-day session was attended by journalists and communication scholars from across the country.
Reports from Climate Action Tracker in 2023 shows that Nigeria's greenhouse emissions are over 60 million metric tons carbon dioxide equivalent. This convergence of intellectual giants therefore dissects issues and proffers solutions to climate change and its harmful consequences. No doubt this subject matter dominates global discourse, and Nigeria is not left out in this narrative, with various parts of the country experiencing unique challenges occasioned by environmental degradation.
We're looking at planting 1 million trees in those arid regions where you have desertification really encroaching.
And we need to spearhead that agenda. We need to create more narrative, reorientate the people, Nigerian people, about the importance of how we can engage in sustainable environmental practices.
The media is at the center of it all. They are expected to contribute through increased professionalism and objectivity in the reportage on issues of climate change.
Whether policymakers like it or not, they cannot handle environment on their own. They have to encourage community participation.
Those that are conversant or that are, more specialized in communicating with the social media to try their best to target the right audiences.
Because, journalistic approaches are based on solution-driven experiences.
The symposium is centered on energy and sustainable environment communication. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide will continue in Sokoto after this timeout. Don't go away.
Have you joined us in Sokoto?
The Renewed Hope initiative of the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, has trained 400 agripreneurs comprising women and youths in Sokoto as part of deliberate attempts to modernize agriculture to make it more attractive. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu reports that the graduates received starter packs in an elaborate ceremony presided by wife of Sokoto State Governor Fatima Ahmed Aliyu.
The beneficiaries are of 4 categories: women, farmers, home gardening, and young farmers club. They underwent training on fish farming, rice, poultry, vegetables, livestock, millet, and maize farming, and were all provided with starter packs. The objective of the program is to ensure food security by empowering women to produce nutritious food for themselves and their children to address malnourishment. It also aimed at instilling agricultural values in the minds of the Nigerian youth as a means of sustenance rather than depending on white-collar jobs. Wife of the Sokoto State Governor Fatima Ahmed Aliyu urged the trainees to apply skills acquired to improve their lives and contribute their quota towards the development of the state and country.
If you could recall, this administration has on different occasions distributed fertilizer free of charge to our farmers to boost food production in the state and the nation at large.
Other speakers appreciate the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu and wife of the governor as well as stakeholders for their concerns to the plight of Nigerian youths.
All participants in this training have gained theoretical skills as well as the implementation of what they learned during the training.
This is more than farming. It is pathway to self-sufficiency.
To instill agricultural values in the minds of our younger generation as means of sustenance, rather than waiting to be employed.
We are tackling the root cause of poverty and social unrest while promoting dignity and economic independence.
The program is a collaborative effort between the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Renewed Hope initiative of First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, and Office of the Wife of the Sokoto State Governor. From Sokoto, Abdullah Omar Ilalu, NTA News.
Airmen and women have been asked to accord priority to personal fitness through routine exercise to remain in good shape physically and mentally, to protect themselves from disease and ensure their combat readiness. The commander of 119 Composite Group, Nigerian Air Force Sokoto Group Captain Umar Salihu Umebu, gave the instruction during the second quarter route march exercise.
Regular body exercise is essential in reducing health risks such as contracting diseases and weight gain among personnel. This second quarter 10-kilometer route march by the Nigerian Air Force underscores the importance of fitness among personnel as it enables them to effectively perform their duty. The routine march is designed to enhance the operational readiness of troops, demonstrating their physical fitness, resilience, morale, and preparedness for operational tasks. Through regular physical training into their routine, the Nigerian Air Force ensures that its personnel are not only physically fit, but also mentally tough, enabling them to withstand the rigors of protecting the citizens and defending the nation's territorial integrity. By doing so, the Nigerian Air Force will remain a formidable force in maintaining national security and stability through its superior firepower. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And those are the reports from this end. It's now back to Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you so much. And now we return to flooding matters, where we say flooding, now a yearly occurrence in Adamawa State, has claimed many lives and destroyed animals with devastating effects on farmlands, thereby negatively affecting economic activities in the state. That's why the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is taking precautionary measures towards mitigating the effects by engaging on enlightenment activities, especially at the flood-prone areas of the state. Let's now join Bilkisu Abubakar to tell us more on what NEMA is doing and, of course, what the citizens themselves are doing in this regard.
Yes, as you have really said, flooding is one of the major issues which is a devastating effect to the people of Adamawa State. Flooding is a natural disaster that is people of Adamawa State are experiencing year in, year out. For instance, almost all the 21 local government areas of Adamawa State are experiencing flooding every year, which is a seriously devastating effect to the lives and the economy of the state, as the Nigerian Meteorological Agency predicts that Adamawa will be worstly hit not only by flood this year, but also the drought and also windstorms. People from southern zone of the state have experienced the effect of the windstorm, which has destroyed houses and also claimed a life. To this effect, the National Emergency Management Agency, alongside the Adamawa State government and the environmental actors, among other authorities concerned, are working out modalities to look into the ways to mitigate the dangers of the floods in Adamawa State. Recently, the National Emergency Management Agency engaged stakeholders in Adamawa so as to work out ways in controlling the flood disaster in Adamawa State, which has started yielded positive results. Likewise, the Adamawa State government has set up a committee that will look into the issue through sensitizing people in all the local government areas of the state so as to control to ensure that people have taken precautionary measures to safeguard their lives and property.
All right, Bilkisu, thank you very much, and I hope the people themselves are playing their parts, especially in dumping refuse in gutters and, of course, waterways. Thank you so much for the update. Now, a new era to harness the power of a transformed Nigeria, they say, is a task that is before Nigerians. This is the submission at the official unveiling and presentation of the book, Transforming Nigeria, Pathway to Progress and Prosperity. Deborah Balagbobo has details.
Well, can collective action, visionary leadership, and systematic reforms impact on Nigerians' future? This is a question a social and political analyst, Zachary Duke Suleiman, tries to find answers to in his new work, which he titled Transforming Nigeria, Pathways to Progress and Prosperity. The book is described as a compelling manifesto for Nigerian social, economic, and political rejuvenation. The 145-page book is structured into 9 chapters, each addressing critical facets of Nigerians' developmental challenges and solutions.
The book's central thesis is that Nigeria's vast potential in human capital, natural resources, and cultural resilience can be unlocked through strategic interventions in human capital development, infrastructure, innovation, institutional reforms, and active citizenship.
Silence is a virtue. Another one said, silence is a choice, but this choice is dangerous when you are supposed to speak and you refuse to speak. And that is why today I'm very excited that a lot of people came in to make sure that they hear from me and we discuss the way forward for this country.
Speakers say Africa has lost its history due to lack of documentation, stressing that the book will make great impact on the readers and government at all levels.
I don't think the author claims to have provided an exhaustive solution, and that's why it is captured pathways. It's not one, there are so many.
I think attitudinal change is key towards achieving national development.
They added that transforming Nigeria is a clarion call to action, adding that Zachariah Suleiman's work transcends pessimism, offering a blueprint grounded in realism and hope for a greater Nigeria. In Abuja, Deborah Balagbobo NTA News.
In the earlier part of the bulletin, we joined Chika Okore, who was telling us about what the state government is doing in the health sector. Let's now go over to Comfort, who is in the studio, for more on what's trending in Enugu State. All right, Comfort, you're on.
Many thanks for joining us in Enugu. In order to galvanize massive support and collaboration for the economic development and social integration of the Southeast political zone, a stakeholders conference was convened in Enugu. Grace Chukuma reports that the event was at the instance of Southeast Communities Development Association, which aims to bring in meaningful development to the region.
The team, expectation from Southeast Development Commission and Federal Ministry of Regional Government, the conference seeks collaborative avenues in agriculture, infrastructure, trade, ICT, and human capital development across communities, thereby complementing the federal government's development programs in the region. In a keynote address, Dr. Nyanwodo represented and plus stakeholders to mobilize, sensitize, and coordinate their communities to participate fully in the development agenda of the Southeast Development Commission.
To undertake meaningful economic and social programs that will stimulate and grow the economy of the Southeast Nigeria.
The Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, appreciated President Bola Tinubu for approving the Southeast Development Commission, stating that it is a true testament of his love and quest for the overall development of the region.
The Honorable Speaker wants you to know that he's with you. Whatever you're doing, the Southeast Development Association is a partner. He will give you all the support that you require to cross the finish line.
Other dignitaries at the event, including traditional rulers, stated the resolve to collaborating with Southeast Development Commission in delivering its operational mandate in the zone, while urging the Commission to adapt SECDA as partner in progress.
It is a new dawn for the Southeast, a clarion call to all the. And we're gracious enough that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, GSCFR, was gracious enough to give us the commission, and it was well accepted by the southern leaders.
The conference rose with the presentation of awards to outstanding personalities in Southeast. In Enugu, Grace Chukuma, NTA News.
To curb crimes of trafficking in persons, stakeholders are coming together to intensify awareness, especially among young people, in the campaign against human trafficking and related crimes. One of such efforts is the inauguration of 30 members anti-trafficking in persons and violence against persons by the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in persons in collaboration with the International Center for Migration Policy Development at Community Secondary School in Enugu. Chika Okore reports.
Violent crimes against persons manifest in various forms, including human trafficking, child labor, sexual molestation, and other social ills. Although anyone can fall victim, children remain the most vulnerable. Within the School Anti-Trafficking Education and Advocacy Project, SIPRA, bankrolled by the Kingdom of Netherlands, is targeting students. The NAPTIP commander, Enugu Zonal Command, noted that with the requisite knowledge about the dangers of human trafficking, students will not only avoid falling prey, but will also be empowered to lead the campaign more effectively.
So what we are fighting is a security issue, and realizing that we cannot do it alone. Because of the vulnerability nature of these children, we shall just start with them.
With 50 benefiting schools across 17 local government areas in Enugu State, this initiative is receiving encouragement as students are being advised to report cases of exploitation.
The anti-trafficking vanguard is very, very important. And we are not letting the school management know that we are not just doing this for doing sake. We want to do it and sustain it. If you see something, say something.
Armed with their kits, including manuals, bags, and T-shirts, the students have now been mobilized to take action.
I commit to raising awareness, protecting the vulnerable.
Beyond the exciting
advancements on the faces of these school children, they are expected to practice what they've learned today by safeguarding themselves against trafficking and becoming ambassadors of this project, thereby contributing to the creation of a safer world for everyone. Are you ready to carry on this message?
Yes, we are ready!
And that says it all. In Enugu, Chika Okore, NTA News.
Taking a break now to join Abubakar in Maiduguri. Thereafter, to join us again.
On to Nationwide, the news belt now continues in Maiduguri. As part of efforts to strengthen routine immunization and improve public health outcomes in Borno State, Office of Wife of Borno State Governor Dr. Falmata Babagana Umar Zulum held a one-day sensitization meeting with key stakeholders ahead of the official campaign on the introduction of measles, rubella, and human papillomavirus HPV vaccines. Here is Pauline Kujivana with the rest of the story.
The event brought together wives of chairmen of local government councils, women group leaders, and traditional rulers to galvanize grassroots support to ensure that no child in Borno State is left unprotected against preventable diseases. While for Borno State Governor Dr. Falmata Zulum emphasized the critical importance of immunization in safeguarding children's health and reducing mortality, highlighting the need to ensure every girl child is enrolled in school, as both education and health are essential pillars for long-term development.
As influential figures, they can endorse and promote immunization, educate their followers about vaccine benefits, dispelling myths and misconceptions. Use their platforms such as mosques, churches, and traditional gatherings to disseminate information.
The Shehu of Bama, Umar Ibn Kari Umar El Kanami, commissioners for local government and emirate affairs, Zume Mele, and that of women affairs and social development, Zue Ragambo, reiterated the state government's commitment to supporting child health programs. Representative of the Commissioner of Health, the permanent secretary of the ministry, Dr. Shatima Ahmed Mohammed, and executive secretary, Borno State Primary Healthcare Development Board, Professor Mohammed Alaji Arab, commended the administration of Governor Zulum for providing the infrastructure and trained personnel needed to ensure the well-being of children across the state. Zonal Technical Consultant Wins Ahmed Ghana provided an update on the measles rubella vaccine, while the state immunization officer Maina Madu gave insight into the human papillomavirus vaccine, with UNICEF Health Manager Marie Marcos, on behalf of development partners, pledged sustained support to building a stronger and healthier Borno. The availability of vaccines and other medical interventions, they noted, will only be impactful if people at the grassroots level embrace them fully. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
We're done for now. From Maiduguri, Ogochukuka, it's back to you.
Thank you, Abubakar, and that incidentally concludes Nationwide today. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to stay safe and out of trouble as we get set to celebrate Salah.